In this episode of Exeter Outdoors, I went over to the Pickpocket Dam to meet with members of the Three River Stocking Association.
Here they are! Lots of little rainbows.
The nonprofit was stocking the Exeter River with hundreds of rainbow trout.
It's set free into the river.
After the river stocking, I caught up with fisherman Patrick Seekamp and Three Rivers board member Rob Wofchuck to learn more about fly fishing in the Exeter.
Little average size rainbows. Yeah, they help. Yeah. Actually, they fight the best. Yeah, you like them the best? I do. I think they're good.
Yeah, good one of those work. More fishies! Today we put in 200 rainbows. They're between 10 and 14 inches. This is the second stocking of the Exeter 2 weeks ago. Put in 250 fish, also all rainbows between 10 inches and 16 inches. So there are some pretty big fish in for this river. The fish will travel pretty far. The regulations that we have in place are between Pickpocket Dam here, the bridge actually, and all the way down to Route 111 bridge where the Exeter crosses. There is no fishing year-round between the bridge and the dam actually because of the fish ladder, so it's not fair to the fish being caught as they're trying to make their way up. And also right above the dam, there's a 50-foot no fishing zone as well. So this was stocked today by Three River Stocking Association. It's a not-for-profit that was formed about 8 years ago. The primary rivers we stock are the Kachiko, the Lamprey, the Isinglass, which we have a lot of help from Waste Management. It's on their property, and the Exeter, which is our fourth river actually. And so what we do in the fall, the rules change on these rivers to catch and release only, artificial lure, and barbless hooks. And once that happens, we start putting our fish in. And so primarily it's rainbows, brook trout, some brown trout. We use currently Sumner Brook hatchery, which you'll see in the video as well. And we're doing it so that we can have an active fishing season in the fall. New Hampshire Fish and Game does not stock at this time of year. They do add some brood stock in some of the rivers later, but primarily we're the ones stocking these rivers at this time. First, just get out and do it. There's great fishing. These rivers are well stocked. Again, like I mentioned, the rules do change in late October, so you have to be aware of that. It's, again, catch and release only, barbless hooks, and a single artificial lure or hook. The fish are in the fall. There's eggs being released, so egg patterns work really well. All your standard patterns, woolly buggers work really well. Little midges as it gets colder. And really on any warm day throughout the whole winter, you can see guys out on the rivers. It's amazing that there are hatches of insects throughout the whole winter. So on a warm day, like we've been having recently, a lot of odd warm days in January and February, the fishing can be really good. But you just have to get out there and do it and have fun.
My name is Patrick Seekamp. I am a local fisherman. I live in Exeter. And I have pretty much been fishing the Exeter River for about 30 years now. And we're here today. This is a winter trout fisheries that was started in three local rivers, the Isinglass, the Kachiko, and the Lamprey. We've added this Exeter River stretch. We're here at Pickpocket Dam. And it's a winter fisheries. We've had the rules revised. I guess it's good to let folks know that after October 15th, it is single hook barbless catch and release. So there's no keeping the fish that you catch, and you have to pinch the barb on the hook so that it makes releasing the fish easier and there's less mortality. So that's the fisheries that we're at today, and obviously this is local Exeter TV, so this is a good opportunity for our folks in Exeter to get out and fish. And I'm going to give you a little tutorial on fly fishing, the fly rod itself, the mechanics of it. It's got a single action reel. This is a 3-weight, 8-foot 3-weight rod. Fly line is measured in weights, so it goes anywhere from generally a 2-weight for trout fishing up to a 5- and 6-weight. 5- and 6-weight are heavier lines, 3-weight is a much lighter line, and it affects the size of the flies that you can fish and also the casting, if you will. On the reel, starting with the backing, you use a material, a Dacron backing. That's the dark orange that you see on the reel here. And then the fly line gets attached to the backing. Attached then to the fly line is a shock leader, a small section of maybe 20 or 30 pound monofilament shock leader. Attached to the shock leader is a monofilament leader itself, and this is about a 9-foot leader that I have on here. And then attached to the leader is a very thin, wispy piece of monofilament called tippet. Tippet comes in spools. The purpose of the tippet is it's extremely fine, and so it disappears when it's in the water, so the fish aren't spooked by the thicker monofilament leader. And it also allows very light, small flies to be tied, and then what's called a roll. If you have, once you cast, you want your fly line to roll over, and the tippet allows the fly to gently settle down on the water surface. So that's pretty much the mechanics of the fly line. The other thing is, excuse me, the difference between spin fishing with a spinning rod and a plug or a spoon would be, on a spinning rod, you cast the plug out and the plug or the spoon weight carries the line out. On a fly rod, it's the weight of the line that carries the fly out, because flies are a lot of the flies that we fish are extremely small. These are quite big, quite large. And if you were dry fly fishing, or you were maybe fishing in the early spring or the summer, you would have much smaller flies. Pretty much busy water and fall conditions, so we fish a lot of streamers and bigger nymph patterns. And so the fly line is the vehicle to get the fly out, and it's the actual line is what carries the fly out. So hopefully that is helpful for some of you folks who don't know anything about fly fishing and maybe are interested in trying. And there's no better opportunity if you live in Exeter than to get down to Pickpocket Dam and fish below the dam. There's plenty of good water here. Thank you.
I've been fishing since I was a little kid, mostly on ponds and lakes with my father with worms, which was awesome. And I didn't start fly fishing till I moved up to New Hampshire in 2004. And I had all these great rivers around me, and I said, I gotta take advantage of this. And I went to the Orvis Fly Fishing School in Vermont and learned how to do it, and bought a lot of stuff in the store. I love getting out here in nature. I think it's awesome to get away from all the electronics and just spend time here. And it's relaxing, it's challenging. I think with fishing, you have to figure out where do you think the fish are gonna be, put on a good fly or lure to imitate something to catch them. And I love just coming out early in the morning before work. Usually it's just me and the great blue herons. But, you know, sometimes they just grab the end of the fly, they don't get the hook, you know, doesn't get all in their mouth, or they spit it out right away. But they seem to like a little bit of movement.
In the middle of our interview, I spotted something moving on the opposite shoreline. A mink was running along the river with a fish in its mouth.
I think it's a fish.
Fisher cat or a mink? I think you're right. I think a fisher. Always coming out of the log. You see him with something in his mouth? See him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think fisher. This is part of what's awesome.
That's a sunfish, I think, or something.
Fish.
Yeah.
That's one of the awesome things when you're standing here just fishing quietly. You see all sorts of amazing wildlife, like that fisher that just ran by. You see great blue heron come in and land, hawks, all sorts of things. It's awesome. Well, casting is hard, or catching trees like I just did is hard. Yeah, you have to, I mean, if you want to cast farther, there is some technique to it. There's plenty of great instructors around, or you can watch it on YouTube. Then after that, it's not too hard. I mean, anyone can do it. It's getting much more popular with kids and women. We got a lot of women involved in our group now and on our board. So that's Three Rivers Stocking Association. So I mean, I think it's very accessible for everyone. All you have to do is buy a New Hampshire fish and game license and, you know, pick up some basic gear and come out and enjoy it.
An annual New Hampshire fishing license costs $45 for New Hampshire residents and $63 for non-residents, and can be bought at many locations, including the Exeter Town Clerk's office or online at nhfishinggame.com. After a nice long day fishing on the Exeter River, the light was beginning to fade. All the fishermen were trying to reel in that last catch before the sunset. Or in Rob's case, his last few catches.
There we go. Yeah, got one. Woohoo! Nice jumper. See how nice they come right out. One more. Then we can go home. All right, got one. Coming right for you. That's a good one. Not the feistiest, but we got him. Give you a quick shot. All right, that was a fun afternoon on the Exeter River. Thank you, Three River Stocking, for putting in all these fish. Bye.